And the geezer needs the motor on some of these hills. It's just the fact. I'm not afraid to admit it. I don't have a chip in my brain yet, although I do have 3 Gates chips in me, doing something or another. Obviously making me talk funny on the YouTube. Anyway, Salazar, out, something else in for a while. And people get on with it. It's not perfect. I got my ideas of what would be a perfect, you know, my environment. Now, what would I do to make it nicer? Plenty of ideas, man. Gotta issue a token. Get the locals in. Bring some Russians who fled to Georgia and some Ukrainians who fled to Poland. And come on, join my media empire. We're gonna farm and make movies. And we'll all love each other. Because we're young and we know how to forgive. And because, quite frankly, dude, it's not your fault. It's Putin's fault. If you were in charge, none of this would have happened. Da, ko spolan. Spapunamayu, unapunamayu. Yeah, you go to Russia, you go to... Wouldn't it be nice if Russia had been invited into the European fold back in the day? And Putin was just another long-term leader in the European Union. And you could go over there and get your little Airbnb flat and take an Uber to the real traditional Russian restaurant in Moscow or St. Petersburg. You'd be cool. Drinking vodka with the Gen Z. Then you'd go on, take the train. You'd get your special train ticket. It was cheap. You'd take your train to Ukraine and go to Yalta or Odessa, hang out by the Black Sea in a mankini, looking at all those beautiful Eastern European young women. Yes, even the babushka, when they get old, they have their charm. You know, they're not as pretty, but they have their charm. And you see all the kind of whatever, you know. Do you have a certain kind of feminism in... I don't think I'm going to try it. It's going to be a dead end in Russia. You know? Maybe you're going to dabble... Hola, bom dia. Maybe you're going to dabble in the Eastern Orthodox Church thing. Have everything kind of lined out. When you're going to eat, when you're going to drink wine, when you're going to eat fish. You're going to cozy up to some icons. Contemplate the divinity of their representations of the divinity of their representations of the divinity. People talk a lot about traditional societies. I want to know which ones they're talking about exactly. How does the Nouvelle 2022 Catholicism work? How does it fold all of this globalization and technology into its fold? Live and let live. Yeah, okay. I got my libertarian county. We're all libertarian here, so just keep your own globalist, goofy ways of life out of our world. We'll get along just fine. You stay on the other side of the county line, motherfucker. Show some respect. I don't need you, man. We've got our water rights. We got our property rights. We defend those with guns. We don't need anybody else. We don't need solar panels from China. We're pumping oil out back, Turkey. How does it all work? I'd really love to know how it all works. It's wonderful to imagine these things. I like it. But it's hard to implement. So people are going to implement getting some. And if you get enough power, you're going to want more power, more control. Putin will never be rich enough. Donald Trump would never be rich enough. People think Donald Trump's going to be the transitional monarch in the United States of new miracles. That's a joke. He couldn't CEO his way out of a paper bag. Fuck. Can't you think of quality people? Chris Yarvin was joking, apparently, and he said Chef Ramsay would be a good choice. Okay, Jesus, I respect you too much to hear that. But it's a joke. It's just funny. It's a humor. Okay, I get it. So seriously, where is the benevolent king that's going to lead the new world? You know, these different thinkers had different ideas of cosmopolitanism, for example, or maybe they didn't have. They lived in a cosmopolitan world, but they didn't think it was cosmopolitan. It's just their world. All kinds of skin tones, no race. Or the way they like to define it now, it's like your race is your culture, man. Don't you get that? It's the sum total of your values and your culture. That's your race. And how, you know, devoted to them and loyal to them you are defines how good a race you are, and so on and so forth. But we live and let live. Well, obviously not. Russians and Ukrainians couldn't be closer in kind, and yet they're tearing each other apart. And please don't say I'm pro whatever, because I'm not. I just don't like war. So call me a tree hugger pacifist. I don't care. The war was all around us that summer and we didn't go to it because we were following our bliss. Because we were being thankful for our Maslow hierarchy of needs having been met for so long and still not totally spoiled by it. We've been happing ourselves for so long that we are not in need of that much self-help, loving ourselves for so long that we don't need vanity. Being good to ourselves for so long that we don't need an excuse to try to make other people better towards us. Otherwise, they have to feel the wrath of my anger when I'm being ignored.